Time to install these Gladen ONE 202 BMWs. I already installed the underseat subs, and these have some pretty massive crossovers, some weight to them. Takes one factory input, and then this goes to the 4-inch mids, and this part goes to the tweeter. And then for DSP, I need to tune these at 200 hertz and above for high pass. And then the subs get tuned at 200 hertz and below. So this is supposed to be a perfectly matched three-way component set. I'm going to start with the passenger side. I already did the rear doors. Rear doors have Audison, they're K4Es. They only have a crossover for the tweeter, and these have the crossover for the mid and the tweeter. The underseat subs were already replaced earlier today, both the driver and passenger side. These Audisons. And they even include the active crossover for DSP, recommends crossover frequencies for low pass underseat, 150 to 200 hertz, so I'll do 200 and below, and high pass passive crossover mid-range tweeter, 200 and above. Got a new set of pry tools. These are thinner, so I should be able to actually reach the door clips with them. I shall see. I'm going to tape the door as a precaution around the perimeter, just because I don't want to scratch it. Alright, your first step should be undoing the T20s. Because the door is bolted to the frame, or the panel's bolted to the door. Now, since I bought extra clips, I wasn't as gentle on these things, and I just ripped the puppies out. You can see there's still some clips stuck in the door. Once you get it to this point, then you pull this way. You don't lift. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so now I got to pull this thing, try to pull it. Makes it seem like it breaks, but that's normal. So, yeah. Now you have to disconnect some of these fasteners. I have to use some pry tools to get these other guys off, but it's all part of the process. There's a bit more stuff on this door versus the rear doors. Like this is a extra little connector there, and the door switch connector is buried in there. It's going to be a little difficult to reconnect it. I'll see if I can disconnect it in that foam box. I also have to figure out where I'm going to put the gnarly crossover. Maybe to go down there. Alright, that piece disconnected, so no big deal. And then you just have to remove the clip there. Okay, I was right. There is a separate connector there, which I can easily put back together. Much easier than trying to somehow reach your hands in there with two fingers and put a plug in. This door's definitely got more going on in it than the other one. I need to remove the few clips I broke. And so that's a factory clip. This guy here. It has an attempt of a little piece of foam there. These are the aftermarket ones, which are much nicer. But I'm going to pop one in and make sure it fits right. And then if it does, I'll replace all of them. There's like 13 of them on the door, I think. Yeah, these things fit nice. You get to remove the tweeter also. and disconnect that guy. Alright. Seems to just kind of pop off. Yeah. I guess when I put it back on, I'll have to figure it out. There's not much slack with this wire here. Well, there'll be a little bit of slack because I'm going to have to cut a hole in the side here, maybe here, or maybe straight down. I'll probably have to do it down to get the most distance because the new speaker's connection's on the inside. Second thought, these connect differently. See, the Audisons in my rear door, I connect both of these guys into them directly with the factory plug. This Gladen has normal positive negative terminal, but the crossover plugs into any one of these because these are all basically positive and negative. Alright, it does not plug into either one of those. One of those goes straight to the tweeter, therefore it is not an input. Super annoying. I got it all done. I had to undo and take the door panel off again. It's basically the black one is the one that actually has the signal from the amplifier. And you can tell that later on, I'll show you in the video, but you can tell that by tracing the wire up to the tweeter. If it's going from empty spot to the tweeter, well, it's not an amplified signal. And another thing, test stuff before you button it back up. Well, it's probably going to plug into one of these guys. And then it has its own wire, which is longer, which I'll probably just shoot up through the bottom here. Because I think the crossover is going to be in this general area. Have to see how I can fit it first. This tweeter was a little tricky to pop out, but I did it in this corner with a small screwdriver. There are clips, but there's like 3 or 4 of them which you can't really hold all at once. There is a little notch, same with the factory, and it goes in that corner there. Snapped right in. Now I'm going to do some sound dampening on the back of the door here. For the tweeter, you gotta obviously fit this piece of foam back in there. There's also a little wire track where it goes through and then folds to go back under. Should look like that when you're done. Or technically like that with the wire ran there. When you put this back on, there's these little fins here that you have to kind of, just like so. And then another wire holder router thingy-mabob. I was gonna hot glue this thing there, but I think this double-sided tape will do the job. It seemed to work pretty good. This thing's on there pretty solid. It's not going to be vibrating around either. That was the second mistake. I put that in the door panel because it seemed like a nice, cool spot for it to fit. It fits real well. But then if you fast forward a little bit, you actually have to hook wires up to that while you're trying to orchestrate holding on to the thing and not dropping it and installing speaker wires. So I had to have my wife help me hold the door for like 15 minutes while I jungle around with that thing. And then, later I had to, take the door panel back off to fix the first mistake I made. So on the second door that I do, I put it actually on the door, not the door panel, and I was able to wire up everything and do nice cable management it was a lot easier. For the sound dampening, I've laid this piece across, and I'm just pushing down on all the tracks. So when I take it off here, I kind of have my cut lines. Alright, I've added some sound dampening to this. I didn't add too much sound dampening, but enough, you know, more towards the bottom. It's kind of time consuming, especially doing that kind of fun stuff. Well, the sun went away, so I get to work some in the dark, but I'm probably not going to record as much because it's going to look dark. But tomorrow I'll do that side in the daylight so you can see it then. I'll probably combine both of these videos as one. So I finished this up last night and Murphy showed up. He decided to mess with me, and really it's my fault. But you know how the speakers have, the original speakers have two connections that go into them, both positive and negative. Apparently I selected the positive and negative cable to power the crossover, which is really just a wire that used to go to here. Therefore, no sound, no signal. And I got this thing put, you know, back together nice and clean. So now I get to pop the door panel off again, and hopefully I don't have to take the whole top piece off. I'll just try to pop the fasteners out, and I'll lay on the ground upside down and see if I can reach up there and redo the connection. But man, that sure ticked me off pretty good. And that's, you know, lesson learned, right? Before you go put the door panel on, do yourself a courtesy and turn your stereo on, make sure the stinking thing works. The under seat sub works, you know. So I did that part right. But man, that had me pretty upset for a little while, but you know, that's what happens. Step one to fix my mistake yesterday. Pop the little trim piece out. Oh, come on. Get out of there. And then I have to unscrew the door, obviously. Got the trim pieces unbolted. Hopefully I can get up under there without having to take the whole wonderful door panel off. Alright, I taped up the one I don't want to use because that one goes straight to the tweeter. Not sure if you can see it because I can't see what I'm pointing at. And I've untaped the one that I want to use. You know, process of elimination. Well, look at that. I have audio. And that's a lot more tweety than the old one. We'll go over to the driver's door. See, this is the driver's door, which hasn't been upgraded yet. Up. Screw that in now. Small detour for some slight vibration I was hearing on this. If I pressed on it, it stopped making it. So I loosened this panel on the bottom, and I'm going to put these strips here and tighten it back up, and that should hopefully stop the extra bass rattle, because you know these underseat subs, they add some extra extra vibration. Well, that was fun. So I put a strip of this sound dampening down the whole bottom shield, and then I'm just gonna tighten it up, test it, and hopefully the little minimal vibration I was hearing outside the car went away. So that reduced the vibration. I mean, if I really jam the system, it still vibrates, but not as bad. And that's just what happens when you put 18 speakers into a car. Now I gotta, put this guy in and start on that side. Alright, it is time for the driver's side. Finished up both back doors, both under seat subs. Well, the back doors have Audison K4Es. The passenger door has the Gladen ONE 202 BMW 3-way component set with a gnarly crossover. And Murphy visited me on that door over there, which I had to tell Murphy to go away. And now I'm going to do this door, and I'm going to do it faster than the other three, hopefully. And I did not invite Murphy this time. So, already taped the door up. I got to unscrew the door first and then start popping. Once you find one, you can kind of go into that area sometimes. And the having two hands thing makes this go quicker. But also, another thing I've done on most of them, since I'm probably going to replace the clips anyway, so I get my hand under there and just say F it and pull it out like that. Two final clips at the very top. So next, I'm going to grab here and pull towards me. Or maybe I'll do it from this side. I'll let you know. Before I do that, I'm going to get my little foam piece to put on the ground, so I don't want to put the corner of this door panel on the pavers, and then I have to disconnect the connections. Ended up pulling it from this side, but now I can't really put it down until I unplug some of those. I was able to rest it there by disconnecting the connection from this cable. Plus I have my little door lock thing hanging there. Before I disconnected the wires, I took all the holder clips off. This little guy wasn't too friendly to get off, so I removed his plug from here, and then I was able to press these two and get it out. And it's free. Alright, this is worth explaining, because two of these being the same stinking plug is what screwed me up over there. Now, logically, if you look at what powers the tweeter here, it's this blue and green and white and blue, which is this guy. I don't want to use that. That cannot be plugged into my crossover. I need the brown and black and something else in black. So I'm going to tape that puppy up, because I'm not going to do this thing twice. And on this door, well, I taped this up, so I'm not going to use it. This time I think I'm going to put the crossover right here, because that saves me having to do all the Houdini magic of holding the door panel while wiring it in through here to the back of the new speaker. And I also got to take this tweeter off. One-handed magic. Yes, this is the way. And it's almost designed to sit here. But I'm going to take some alcohol wipes, wipe the back of both of these, and put some nice double-side tape, even though it's kind of holding itself there. And I see no reason I won't be able to put the panel back on. It fell on that first, so that's good. So that should work. I better be able to put the panel back on. That would sure not be cool. And I didn't break any clips either. But I'm still going to take the old clips out. And also for reference, this little black piece should be in those grooves. And it wasn't on my other one, and I had a hard time reconnecting it. First, I put the double-side tape on this clean piece, pushing it down thoroughly, and then I'll peel off the little plastic thing for the double-side tape. Yeah, I like this much better. I taped all the wire. This thing's fastened in. That's the problem child one that goes to nowhere. And I was going to tape this in there too, but the Gladen speakers, they mount kind of upside down, so I need to go in from here, I believe, to hook the new speaker wires up. I'm actually going to check that by unscrewing this speaker and test fitting the other one. So much nicer. Should have did this on the first door, but you learn things when you do them. I learn as I go. I try to research some before I start, but there wasn't anything out there about these G32s. There's G30s and G90s and all different ones, but this is kind of a rare car. This kind of stuff messes with my OCD. The only way these line up is this way, but you can't see it because it's behind a panel, and my speaker terminals are here, so that means I need to drill in there. Made a little hole, and I'll connect the speakers, and then I'll tighten up the slack, tie down the cables. And then I'll move to my door panel inside and put some sound dampening on it. Alright, gray, solid gray is positive because the bottom of the crossover says MB plus for the gray, MB minus for the gray with the black line. So put this in, pull the slack out, and seal the hole with some hot glue, and do some cable management. Quick sanity check. I'm going to work on the tweeter now. This is how the factory one is wired in there. You can see the wire goes up and under and over and under again. The little notch is right there in between those two wires. You can kind of see it. Pop the tweeter out from this point with a small flathead screwdriver. Gonna pop it back in with the tab lined up. Simple enough. Tweeter's done. Let's see. I think I go in from this side. Yeah, one-handed, look at that. And then this guy is gonna, yeah, look at that. perfectly line up. Tape these together just so they don't rattle. Temporarily disconnected the clip. Done with sound dampening. I could do more, but I need to save some of my sound dampening for my other car. I'm going to switch these fasteners out to the aftermarket ones that have more cushion there. 13 fasteners. These are a little nicer. They have more cushion. And when I had to take off one of my door panels that had these on it, they came off better. I mean, they're secure, but they still came off without breaking. So yeah. Now it's time to go put this thing in my car. I gotta reconnect a whole boatload of wires and be done soon. I have my little step stool and my foam pad. Make it easier to hook these puppies back up. Alright, wires are all reconnected and then secured into their little lock places. Well, I gotta connect the blue door lock thing. That might be important. Got the top piece smashed in. Now I gotta connect all the door fasteners. I hope it closes. One of my fasteners fell off. That's awesome. And again, for grins, making sure there's noises coming out of each speaker here. Alright, it snapped together perfectly. No little gaps here. And my speakers still work. Putting the door screws back in. I am done. It works. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but all 4 of these speakers have been upgraded. Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, 2 in the front door, passenger door, sub under each of the seats here. And then both these 2, those 2. I could, if I really wanted to, upgrade the component set back there, but I have them configured more as a filler, not as a sound quality. And I also could upgrade my dash speaker. That's also a 4-inch component set, but that's just more work, and stuff takes time. So now I got to do some DSP tuning and call it a day.